Hey everyone, and welcome to my Elden Ring character design pitch for Creative Process. So the first thing I did was create a mind map to kind of brainstorm any ideas that I had, and also research some stuff that is related to the game. I will admit that I have not played it. My best friend has been trying to get me to play it co-op with him, but I refuse to play most games that punish me for falling off cliffs. So, I did look a bit into the environment, and I saw that it had cliffs, castles, catacombs, caves, forests, honestly, just an abundance of different settings, really. I looked at the creatures that it have. There were kind of horse-looking creatures. Some looked like actual horses, some just oh, reminded me of horses. There were lions, dragons, bears, and a whole bunch of corpses, most of them living. For the general setting, it was definitely inspired by a lot of European mythological and historical settings. I can see influences from Roman mythology, from Norse mythology, just jewelry from the Byzantine Empire, and a lot of clothing from the Elizabethan era. Basically, just it covers a period of like more than 1,000 years, and I mean it's fantasy, so I guess to a certain degree you kind of have free reign as long as it's somehow connected to Europe. Then for the characters, I saw a lot of knights, royals, assassin, and some golems, which I all found interesting, and I used that as a kickoff point to look a bit further into anything else. So when looking at the characters, I saw that a lot of them used very toned down color palettes, mostly grays, blacks, and whites, except for the characters that seem to be inspired by like royal personas. So that immediately caught my eye, and I think I'm probably gonna go more in that direction with something that's a bit more colorful. And as I said before, there is a ton of different inspiration that went into this game. So there's really no easy pickings here. But yeah, it definitely got me like a good overview of where we want to go myself. I looked at different settings, and I definitely want to stay away from cliffs. And I was kind of leaning towards forest at first, just because it is more colorful. But then I figured the easiest way to stay on track with the Elden Ring theme is to just go catacombs, which seems very classical Souls-like. So I once again had a look at the creatures like the horses or this bear that kind of looks like a raccoon. And fun fact, raccoons are actually not part of the Lucerne family, but instead belong to the Brachionide and are related to bears in the same way that humans are to chimpanzees. It also had these lion guardian things, and dragons. And I know what you're thinking. This thing is clearly a wyvern. Dragons have 4 limbs and 2 wings, and this only has 2 legs and wings. Didn't you just try to explain animal taxonomy to us? How can you not care about this distinction? And you are right. I don't care, and I will continue to refer to this creature as dragon. It also has whatever happens when you run out of colored ink. So yeah, I really wanted to go with a dragon idea, and I kind of was thinking, okay, what do dragons like? Dragons like kidnapping people and treasure. So I kind of thought, okay, how about I make my character that I already decided wanted to be kind of like a royal or a nobility or just someone with like a lot of money, so I could use a more colorful palette. Um, Basically, have kidnapped by this dragon, and what would be the reason for this? So I kind of also looked at some jewels, and some like enemies that have more like of a skeletal feature, from the setting, and I came up with this. Content warning for trypophobia and human remains. So I found these so-called heavenly bodies, which are skeletons said to belong to Christian martyrs, and they were adorned with jewels by nuns that date back to various points in human history in true Elden Ring fashion. Most of the human bosses that I saw were males, so I wanted to get into a more feminine direction to balance it out. And due to this, the glorious Google recommendation got me thinking about Venetian masks, and Venice is in Europe, so I find this still fits with the setting. I looked at more bony inspirations, and lastly, my current idea is having the skeletal lady in a harlequin headpiece wearing a Venetian skull mask with a transparent overcoat that shows off her ribcage, which I will bedazzle, leading down to her oversized hands, as I found a lot of Elden Ring characters have these unique proportions, and a long drawn out skirt. I haven't decided on a color palette yet. I definitely don't want it to stay colorless. And for a weapon, I'm thinking I want to go with this Scourge, which has a global cruciger attached to it instead of a grip. That's it for me. Let me know if you guys have any questions or feedback.